afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis, hence the name of my channel, Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. 4 years ago, I was asked to come up with a series of videos that were filmed inexpensively. We don't use digital cameras, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't use shotgun microphones, we wear tatty shirts, we just use a phone. But we look at cars that you can buy for a budget up to £1,000 only, and we very much enjoy ourselves. These are cars that might be in cosmetically bad condition. You might see oil leaks, rattly dashboards and cosmetic imperfections, but we go all over the country and we find these very inexpensive cars that you all seem to enjoy watching. Right, viewers, I never thought I'd be driving another one of these so soon, but here we are, a 2000 Volvo C70 2.3 T5 GT Cabriolet or Convertible. It's got the same alloy wheels as the Coupe C70 that I had as well. The convertible version was introduced in 1999 in this country and actually lasted till 2005. I've driven two coupes, one manual, one auto, both T5s. This is a manual one, and it's actually quite low mileage, under 100,000 miles on this car. I'm leaving the engine running because the battery's a little bit low on this, so we'll just leave that the way that it is. Very, very handsome looking car. For some reason the coupe was discontinued in 2002 and the Cabriolet continued till early 2005. This is a pre-facelift one. The facelift didn't occur till late 2003 actually, although some people do fit the facelifted headlamps and grille and things like that to earlier cars if you want to. So there's one very important thing, viewers, and we haven't just got a beige hood. We have a beige leather interior. Strangely enough, although this is a GT model, and the GT ones tended to have a bit more equipment, it's got manual seats in it, which is unusual. We've got acres and acres of beige dashboard though. We'll have a sit in here. Actually got a beige steering wheel. I'm leaving this cover on because it's got a bit nasty in there over the years. But we've got the amazing stereo, which mine had as well, with that crazy sort of CD magazine. The SC901 it's called. We're just got to leave it like that, I think. You can take it out and then change the CDs over. We actually had a tape in here as well. If we take this out, you can see what the previous owner's music taste was like. We've got golden hits of Mexican brass. So we've got the volume off at the moment. We don't intend any copyright infringement on this channel. We've got the info centre as well. That wasn't a given on these cars, and it has all sorts of information. The average miles per gallon is probably going to be dreadful. Yep, 13.7. What about the temperature outside at 8 degrees? That's pretty good. 1.5 miles since reset. Miles to 0, 65. So got plenty of fuel. Average miles per hour, 5 miles an hour. So it's had a bit of a reset recently. Yeah, that's the switch for doing the hood. I'm leaving the hoods up at the moment because it is raining. There is some footage I took a little bit earlier on with the hood down, and you would have seen that in the thumbnail for the video too. So yes, heated seats, cruise control, and lots of wood. Wooden gear knob in this car, which is great. Climate control, all you could ever want. To see if my secret mission documents go, and I can't remember if they do in one of these cars. Not quite. The door pocket's too small for them as well, which is a bit rubbish, but you know, never mind. What I'm going to have to do now is get in the back, viewers. This is going to be inelegant in the extreme. Why do I put myself through something like this? Oh dear. That's going to need two hands. Excuse me, viewers. Okay, that's better. Got the side impact bags in this with the whips. My C70 is a 98 cable throttle car. Actually had electric seats. This does not. Oh dear, okay. No. Oh dear. That's worse than Roger Moore's stunt double and View to a Kill. Right, let's adjust that. There we go, that's better. So we put the dealer plate in there. That's going to hopefully stay up. So not the greatest rear visibility. One thing you could not get, as far as I'm aware, in a Mark 1 C70 is parking sensors. I don't think you get them in any car at all. I've seen aftermarket ones, but you could really do with some. It was interesting. That's to do with the alarm system. Actually, if you're a rear passenger, and I'll pull this seat, well, I'll have to stay there. If you pull that back a little bit, and you can actually see the leg room, sort of all right. The main thing is getting in and out. We've got little lights here. That one works. And I imagine you could put a wind deflector in here. There's somewhere to put it. That's the alarm system, I think. That switch, 12-volt socket in the back. And then these are, you can put windows up and down, which I'm not going to do because I'll get very, very wet. Lumbar support as well. Right, let me clamber out and get back in the front, viewers. If you've got mobility issues, viewers, one of these cars is not for you. Okay, let's open up the boot. You can use that. See if it's actually worked. So a quick insert here, viewers. Back at the dealership. Key in. There we go. Right, finally. That was more frustrating than I thought it would be. So there's actually quite a lot of space in here. It's not as much space as the coupe because of all this roof that's actually stored in there when it's down. So considerably smaller than the 400 litres or so that you get in the coupe version. Still got in here though the space over spare and things like that. It's not bad as convertible boots go, but it's just not as practical as the normal coupe version. And don't leave the keys in there either, otherwise you're going to be in serious trouble. So engine is actually underneath there. I'll just open the bonnet and we'll take a look. So here is the 2.3 litre 5-cylinder white block turbo engine, T5, in this case developing about 237 horsepower. Later T5s had a bit more, about 243 I think it was. And yeah, you've got to watch yourself with oil leaks with this engine, as I found out to my detriment when I owned one of these cars myself. The oil leaks were so bad that they've ruined the PCV system, and yeah, that was the end of the engine. It was uneconomical to repair the car. This one looks okay. You've got oil leak around the filler cap, but that's nothing unusual. Dipstick tube in this car is actually still in place. It's not floating around, which is good. And I can't see any other oil leaks anywhere else. This is one of the later cars that has an electronic throttle, which means we've got a different coolant reservoir and the power steering for the reservoir is in a different place. The cars with the electronic throttle came from the 1999 model year. But yes, cam belt in this engine as well. Make sure that's changed. Everything like that. I don't know if my headlamp wipers work or not. The ones on mine didn't work, which is not unusual for these. It's actually more hassle to get them working again than it is just to leave them. So you can see we've got the blue badge on the front as well. That's another sign that this car is on the electronic throttle, not the cable throttle. Right, I suppose we better go for a little spin and see how bad the scuttle shake is. So the basic engine available on the convertible, cabrio, whatever you want to call it, was a 2 litre turbo. It's still a 5-cylinder though, with 163 horsepower. There was actually a normally aspirated 2.4 white block engine available in the coupe version. It never was available in the convertible in this country. But that developed 167 horsepower, I think it was. Earlier versions of that engine were badged as 2.5, but it's actually 2,435 cc, so it's really a 2.4, and they changed the name of that later. The turbocharged engine of that turbocharged version of that engine was available in this car, and initially it had 190 horsepower, but was increased to 197 brake horsepower in 2002. The T5, like this one, started off with 237 horsepower, and then later on it was changed to 243 horsepower around the same sort of time as well. We have got scuttle shake going on. I can feel it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up particularly, but there is scuttle shake going on. Also in this GT model, we've got suspension that is slightly lower than the standard by about 1.5 millimetres. It's not a lot. Sorry, centimetres, not millimetres. By 15 millimetres. There we go, 15 millimetres. It's not a lot, but certainly this car feels nice and powerful. So did mine. I think actually in some ways the automatic suits one of these better than the manual. Manual's good enough, I suppose. I've driven a manual one before, but I think really this isn't an out-and-out sports car. Neither is the coupe. They're Grand Tourers. They're not really cars to be sort of hustled along back road. The steering, for whatever reason, and it's exactly the same in mine, is not as quick as something like an 850, although they're on the same platform. The P80 platform was introduced in 1992 with the 850 and continued until the last of the C70 convertibles from the first generation in 2005. So the S70 P1 or P1, the V70 P1 or P80, and this all use the same platform. 0 to 60 in this T5 version, I think, is under 7 seconds, which is quite quick. Although you have to actually rev this quite hard to make the most of the engine. It's very torquey. It doesn't actually seem that fast until you actually get on boost. But when you do, it just sort of surges forward. It doesn't really rev that high. Like most of the time, you're not going to be revving above 3,000 RPM really in normal driving, but it's just kind of there. Like it's a very kind of torquey, low revving engine in many ways. You can rev it up to really high if you want. I mean, I've seen white blocks rev to sort of 7.5, 8,000 RPM, but most of the time it's not really designed for that. The shuttle shake isn't actually as bad as I thought it would be. It's not noticeable on camera. It is there. I can feel it coming through the steering and things like that, but it's sort of alright. Biggest problem with this car is that, apart from the potential for oil leaks on the engine and things like that, is the visibility, which is really bad at the back. It's appalling. And also the steering lock is quite poor. That's not particularly impressive either. So should you consider one of these C70s for your hard-earned budget up to £1,000? Well, I suppose that really depends on the sort of person that you are. I mean, they're not the cheapest cars to sort of service and look after. You can have quite a few problems with these, but sort of luxury for this sort of money, and hearing about lovely 5-cylinder white blocks, those might be adequate compensation, but ultimately I suppose the choice is yours. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more inexpensive motoring.